Hello, I'm Bradley and welcome to my channel. If somebody doesn't get your greatness, they don't get to have a page in your book. Now, what does that mean? I truly do believe that we are blessed with this life. So every single day on this earth, we are writing a book. Now, what does that mean? So we're writing a book as our life. So think of it like as every single day that you're living, you're writing your pages of a book. So how do you want your book to read? So if you were reading it, would you be happy with it? If not, then change it. You can write your pages, and changes don't have to be super expensive or take large amounts of time. We make decisions in our lives every single day, and they all have an impact and they all make a difference. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we make a lot of positive decisions every single day. But of course, we're only human and we do make bad decisions at times. And sometimes things go completely pear-shaped. And do you know what? That is absolutely okay, because whether it's good, bad, it is all progress, my friend. We just have to keep the right perspective that we're moving forward all the time. Now, there's a lot of awful things happening in this world. I don't need to remind anybody that. So I always think that sometimes when we're on our journey, let's always try to be positive, let's always try and spread kindness, and let's try and help one another out. But there are times out there, and we've all gone through them in our life, where no matter how good we can be, no matter how kind we can be, no matter how much of a positive influence we're trying to be, or no matter what great things we do, there will always be someone out there who will not get your greatness. Now, every single person in this world is an incredible individual in their own right, because there is only one of you. There is only one of us on this entire earth. So there's not another Bradley, there's not another you, my friend, who's watching this. So in that fact alone, you are truly incredible at the very start of it, because there's one of you. Now, how you choose to lead your life is entirely up to you, your own prerogative. You can do exactly what you will. And some people will run with that blessing of life and they will do incredible things. Some people, it takes them a little bit of a while to get started, but in the end they get there, and that's what counts. But along that journey, some people don't get your greatness. And you know what, my friend? It's took me a long time to realise that that's okay. I'm 31, and if I go right back to when I was a young teenager, and of course when you're at that time of your life and you've got your mates and things, and you try to form that clique, and sometimes you're not always in that clique, or maybe there's a bit more of a popular group, or maybe a bit more of a cooler group, dare I say it. Me, I was always very much into my studying, so I was almost very much, that would be first, and then the socialising after, whereas my twin brother, bless him, I have absolute privilege of growing up with my best friend by my side, and I've got another two older brothers as well. So it's absolutely great. But my twin brother would socialise, then the work almost. But he done incredibly well. So he was very fortunate for that. But he worked incredibly hard. Me, I would always have to work almost that little bit harder and then the socialising. So you could say it was a little bit more of a challenge for me, but I don't believe it was. We just had different learning styles. And at that time in my life, I was going through some health problems, and unfortunately, as a young teenager, and probably earlier, I started to lose my hearing, and then I'm now deaf in my left ear. So there was a lot of influences going on, and at that time of my life, somebody who is my absolute world, my dear Nan, was starting to show signs of Alzheimer's dementia, and I vowed to her that I would always be there throughout every single step. Nan is my absolute world. So at this time in my life, I was there. And I had, do you know what? I don't think I realised it. I had all these great attributes in my life. And I was always very kind. I was always very time giving. I'd always give people my time, even at a young age. I think I always had quite an older head on my shoulders. And you know what? I really did enjoy my schooling. I enjoyed growing up as a child. I was blessed with an incredible childhood with my incredible parents. But there was times in my life where people didn't used to get me. People didn't get me. They always used to sometimes assume that I was a bit stuck up or I was a bit overly privileged and that perhaps that had gone to my head. But it didn't. It really didn't. But sometimes I would try to call the sound of almost... I was always brought up to speak correctly and always to never use slang terms or anything like that at all. My father was in the Navy, so he was very authoritative, but absolutely always incredible. And you know what? Sometimes I would almost try to adapt to fit in with mates and things. And sometimes, you know, you say things and you think, why on earth did I just say that? Those types of scenarios growing up. But of course, now you think back on it, whereas then I didn't. So as I say, love school, but not everybody got me. So now, when I look back in my life, and there's been experiences in my working career where I've almost downplayed myself to think that actually, do you know what? You're not that great. You're not that special. You're good at your job, but you're not, there's always someone almost you're only a number type thing. And you know what? Since turning 30, and I think my parents throughout my whole life have always installed that I'm a strong person. Even though I've got a hearing condition or whatever's going on in my life, I'm still amazing Bradley. And my nan also very much installed that. So my mum, my dad, my nan, just very much pillar in my life. So I say to you, my friend, that if somebody doesn't get your greatness, they don't get a page in your book. Because now, as I'm growing up, say growing up, or growing mature in life, so to speak, I really do have that kind of different view that actually, if somebody doesn't see my greatness, or if someone doesn't see my view, and this isn't me being stuck up, this isn't me being whatever terminology you want to use, this is me simply saying that you never ever have to change. You are who you are, and you are absolutely great in your own right, in your own merits, and everything what you are. You are incredible. And you have an air about you of skills and individuality and experience, and your heart is always going to be different from somebody else. So you cannot try and walk the path of somebody else. That's already taken, they're walking it. Be you. And you've got an air of grace about you. You've got an air of goodness and greatness. Don't let nobody else ever take that away from you. And if somebody doesn't get it, then do you know what? That individual isn't worthy. Okay, and that's not me saying that you're better than them. They're just not worthy. They're not ready for you yet. So that's what I tell myself and my state of mind and my mind frame. If I go to approach somebody in the workplace and have a chat and sometimes they're a little bit rude, number one, I'm always a very caring individual and I always think to myself, they're going through something. That's absolutely fine, they're going through something. They didn't realise that they'd made me feel that way. But do you know what? Today, you don't get my greatness. And I move on. And they miss out on that. And they don't get a page in the book I'm writing today. And I move on. Sometimes people aren't always ready for us. Could be a friend, could even be a family member, could be an individual on the street. Sometimes people aren't always ready, and people don't always see the greatness in you. So my friend, if you're going through that, and you think to yourself, do you know what, I've been let down, or I'm in a bit of an awkward position, and perhaps I need to start changing this and changing that. No, you don't, because you are you. And if someone doesn't get your greatness, they don't get a page in your book. Remember that, because you are incredible. You walk around, you've got that skill, you've got those qualities, you've got your individual characteristics, you've got everything which makes up you. Your chemical cellular makeup of you is you. And as I say, don't ever try to walk in someone else's path. That's theirs. And at the end of the day, you really might not like it, because how many trends and things out there on social media do people, our young people in society, try to follow and walk those paths, but actually those are people who are setting trends and trying to inspire. They're not saying you need to live a life like this to be happy, because if you start walking someone else's path, I don't know if you're ever going to be happy when you're not true to yourself, when you're not true to your own heart, when you're not true to whatever makes you, you. Just for that fact alone, you are great, you are incredible, and I hope that empowers you. So on that note, don't ever let anybody take your greatness away, and if someone doesn't see it, then don't give them a page in your book. God bless, take great care, I look forward to seeing you real soon. Bye now.